Hey, everybody, on today's episode of the Utah High School Hoops podcast, the champs are here. I don't know. Can I do, let me see here. Can I do this? We got the champs in the building from down at Enterprise High School. I'm going to be joined by Coach Bud Randall. I've got seniors Treyson Randall and Dax Hunt are joining the program. We're going to talk about their season, talk about what this means for them as seniors. Coach Randall has been coaching for 32 years. I want to find out how many championships he has won between his stints in Idaho and Utah. We're going to have a fun conversation. Like I said, this is a podcast for all of Utah high school basketball, and we're gonna jump in with the folks from Enterprise right after we get through the intro. Let's go. This is the Utah High School Hoops podcast, your source for sometimes informative, but always entertaining coverage of the Utah high school hoop scene. With your host, Adam Meek. What's going on, fellas? Got Coach Bud Randall, Coach Bud, got Treyson Randall, related. They are, what was the relationship there, Treyson? Coach
He's my uncle.
Coach Bud's your uncle. That's awesome. And then I got Dax Hunt as well. Thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure. The question on everybody's mind, because I did not Google this, where is Enterprise, Utah?
We're down in the southwest corner. We're about 25 miles, I guess 35 miles northwest of St. George.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you'd have to kind of get off the.
Yeah, if you come down I-15 and hit Cedar, it's actually better to stop at Cedar and then head west.
Gotcha. Okay, where do you stand on this particular question? This is what everyone's tuning in to hear. I moved here from Colorado about 6 years ago, and I would tell people when I was driving south, I said, yeah, we're staying at a place in Hurricane, Utah. And I was quickly corrected, but I felt like, no, the rest of the world says hurricane. Where do you all stand on this hurricane? I'll just call it nonsense. Are you pro hurricane, or do you think that they should just change over to hurricane?
Well, we pronounce it as hurricane, so
it's okay. This is a safe place. You're allowed to change how you say it. It's not the Miami Hurricanes. You know, like if you don't listen to the weather and they're just like, we got a hurricane coming up on the Florida coast. It's fine. It's fine. Well, anyway, that's not what people are tuning in to talk about. We want to hear about this championship season for Enterprise. I want to start with you, Coach. So you told me before the call, you've been coaching for 32 years, 7 years at Enterprise. I didn't do a deep dive into, Enterprise boys basketball history or the history of Coach Bud Randall prior to the call, because I have a full-time job and I have 5 kids and this is a hobby. So tell me how many, have you gone through this before as a team, or have you gone through this before as a coach? Give me a little bit of a background on your history and the history of Enterprise.
Yeah. Enterprise is known for 2 things, baseball and basketball.
Okay.
In the 80s, we had kind of a dynasty in baseball. I think in the 80s and 90s, we won 9 baseball state championships.
Jeez.
And we won, in the late 80s, we won 3 in a row basketball.
Okay.
So that's kind of where it started. I was a player in the 80s, so I was a part of 3 state championships in the 80s.
Now, Treyson and Dax, do you realize that this was before there was a 3-point line? Do you know this?
Yes, there was no 3-point line when.
Have you heard these stories yet? Has Coach ever been in practice and been like, when I was playing here at Enterprise, there was no 3-point line? Have you heard any Coach Bud stories about when he played there?
Yeah, we've heard a few.
That's awesome. Okay, well, that's great. I didn't realize that you had played there. And in recent history, has Enterprise, I guess for Treyson and Dax, was this your first championship, or have you been part of championship teams already?
Go ahead, Treyson.
Yeah, this is my first championship.
Okay.
When I was a freshman, I played a little in one, and as a sophomore, I played quite a bit, and another one we played in. We played in 3 years in a row.
In the championship game, you played?
Yeah.
Yeah, we played. We made it to the championship game in 20, 21, and 22, 3 years in a row, but lost all three of them.
Oof.
Yeah.
So then that's got to make this year feel, I mean, just incredibly special, right? To get over that hump and finally be able to celebrate with your family and your friends. And what was it? It was in Cedar City, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the Enterprise community showed up in full force to support y'all.
Yeah, we had a great support. A lot of people showed up for the game. So
that's awesome. Well, so for Treyson and Dax, you're both seniors. Who was it that said this was your first one? I don't know who was who on the screen.
It was me, Treyson Randall.
Okay, so Treyson, this was your first one. Was that because you had not played basketball, or because you weren't on the varsity team, or what? Why was this your first, but it's Dax's, I guess third or fourth?
Because this was really the first year I got to actually. Well, I guess it was the second year that I actually got to play on the varsity team.
Awesome.
I contributed this year and last year, so it felt more special to me this year because I actually helped contribute to winning.
Yeah, no doubt. And I was pulling up your stats here. It looks like you had let's see, we got 5.5 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 3.5 assists per game, 1.2 steals per game. Would you kind of describe your game this year, Treyson, as sort of a whatever the team needs on any given game, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do it? I mean, were you the scrappy guy out there guarding, the team's best player and taking charges? Was that kind of your role?
It was kind of me and Dax. Me and Dax were probably one of our best defenders.
Okay.
We'd always switch off on the best guy. But my role on the team was share the ball with each other, shoot when I'm open, pretty much just do whatever I can to contribute to the team and help the team win.
I love it. And Dax looks like here, and I'm guessing these are accurate stats, right? Got 11 points per game, 4.8 rebounds per game, 3.6 assists per game. Coach, you guys share the ball. 18.5 assists per game is a really good amount for high school basketball in Utah. That's awesome. And Dax, you got 1.3 steals per game, and only in 0.1 blocks. You gotta step up the block shots. No. But Dax, so you'd been a part of a few of them. So kind of walk me through not only your role in the team, but also just what did this mean for you in your senior year?
It was awesome. Like you say, we've lost. I've been played in 3. This is my third one I played in, and we lost the first 2, and it was heartbreaking. We lost one to San Juan by 1 point. They called a foul on me, and the kid shot 2 free throws to win the game. But to come back and win this one, it was something special for sure.
And forgive me for not knowing, but who did y'all beat in the championship?
North Summit.
North Summit. Okay, that's right. I remember I went and looked at it and couldn't recall it. Well, I was going to say, did you beat San Juan? Did you guys play them in the tournament run?
No,
not this year. Got
it. Well, that's tough. I mean, it's got to be a tough way to go out your junior year, or was that your sophomore or junior year? Sophomore year. So, Coach, what lessons were you able to kind of glean and share with the team? I mean, you've got, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 seniors. 4 of your top 5 scorers were all seniors this year. And I'm guessing they've all sort of been part of, in some way, shape, or form, these runs. Was there a lot of team leadership, or talk me through what that was like for you as a coach to kind of rally them together to pull off this run?
Yeah, it's always nice to have seniors who have had experience. And so when we came back this year, obviously, we didn't make our goal last year. We got beat out in the first round last year. And the seniors kind of took that to heart and didn't want that to happen again. So they buckled down and had some good leadership throughout the year and throughout the off season to put in some time to get better. And so when we came back this year, they were focused and ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, championships are not won during the season, right? Championships are typically won during the off season. And
Correct.
so for you, Treyson and Dax, was this something that you guys kind of pulled together? I don't know if there's a lot of multi-sport athletes, or if there's a lot of, like focused on just basketball athletes, but I got to imagine there was, with these 4 seniors, you guys were able to get some off-season workouts going and kind of get everyone together. Was that led by you both and the team?
Yeah, and we just work individually too. Just kind of go down to the church or find a gym and just shoot. Have our parents rebound, or we'd come. One of the other assistant coaches will come at 5:30 in the morning, and we'll come shoot sometimes. So just whenever we could get in the gym.
Yeah, no doubt. I tell people back in Colorado when I came here, I'm like, Utah is so big for basketball because there's literally a gym on every corner. I mean, I live up in Salt Lake, and there's a basketball hoop, and you probably know somebody with a key that can get you into the basketball, into the gym.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a huge part of the culture and the community here in Utah. And how about for both of you? Is basketball your only sport, or do you guys play other sports as well?
I also play baseball.
Okay. And for you, Dax, is it basketball focused?
Yeah, I rodeo too, so like rope and stuff.
Hey, there's no shame in that. I actually went to my first rodeo. I got to say, like, this is my first rodeo. That was a fun thing to say. And my little guy, he's 8. He was watching what's it called? The mutton busting. Is that where they like ride on a sheep or something like that? He was like, I want to do that. I was like, I don't think you really do, actually, buddy. I'm pretty sure that's not the thing. Well, that's cool. I mean, that's but in all seriousness, right? I mean, rodeo is not easy. At least, I mean, I can't say like I know from experience, but I have watched it and I'm like, oh man, these are athletes. I mean, those kinds of things, that the toughness that comes from that, I have to imagine translates onto the basketball court where you're not afraid of anybody, right? I mean, if you're trying to take down did you say take down a steer? I've got my bucked up shirt on, so I don't know.
I steer wrestle, so yeah.
Man, if I'm bad at Gen Z language, I'm equally as bad at rodeo language. So I apologize for any attempts that I am making at that, but I do know how to say hurricane correctly. Well, so Coach, as we found out through the other, through some of the other state tournaments, basketball is obviously a team sport, but in a single elimination tournament, and you guys have found this out 2 other times, right? A single elimination tournament, anything can happen. So I was at the game where Dixie lost to Snow Canyon recently, and everyone I talked to was like, Dixie's going to run the table. They're great, and they're a great team. But I'm like, I've watched enough basketball to know you get a bunch of 16 to 18-year-old boys on a court, and who knows what's going to happen. How are you able to keep your team focused on this run to be able to pull off the win and keep them focused on each game at a time and not look forward to the next opponent?
Well, I think that's what you just said there was probably the biggest key was we tried to keep them focused on the next or the game at hand. And I think the biggest part was they remember what had happened last year. And for some of them, what had happened the last 2 years. And they just didn't want that to happen again. So they were going to do whatever they could to win that game to get us to the next one.
Yeah, and I didn't like go back and necessarily like break down film, but just looking at the scores, I mean, you didn't have a game that was the closest game was 13 points at the end of the game. So it seems as though it was like, all right, let's go take care of business. Let's not take anyone for granted. When it's winning time, we're gonna put our foot down. Was that it seems like that was part of not only the heritage and the history of Enterprise, but also with these 4 seniors and the 1 junior who were kind of your top 5 scoring contributors, saying like, we already know what happens from last year when you guys lost in the first round. When we take a team for granted, it's not happening again.
Yeah. Yes. And to go off of what you said earlier, anything can happen in the course of a game. A team can go on a run at any time. And so we just told ourselves, hey, there no lead is too big in a tournament game. So we got to keep fighting and keep that lead as high as we can keep it, so that when a team does go on a run, we have enough space, a big enough score that they can't overcome it. So,
yeah. So you guys ruined my prediction because I don't watch a lot of 2A basketball. So I had made, I called them predictions that nobody asked for, because I think that these things it's all just somebody's opinion, right?
right.
And so, I think myself and other folks, because you can't expand out and watch so much basketball, had APA West Valley because they had just been so dominant. So you guys get them, and you come out, and that's obviously a team with a couple guys that can go out and get you. So talk to me a little bit about that game, because you won every single quarter, right? How did you prepare for somebody like Comey and like Peter? How did you prepare to keep them at bay and keep them from going off and winning that game?
A couple of things. We got into a tournament in Mesquite this year, which is south of St. George, down in Nevada there.
Uh-huh.
And we like going to that tournament because they bring up teams from Las Vegas. So we got to play 2 or 3 teams out of Las Vegas that have similar type players. Athletic, quick, can jump, can shoot. And so being able to play those types of teams, I think, prepared us for being able to play West Valley this year.
Yeah. Yeah. And certainly, Coach Wood up there, they were working just as hard as you were, right? And and you guys went out, and it looks like, jumped out early and then just didn't let them get back in the game, which is impressive. So I got a couple more questions and we can wrap up. So the championship game, which was against, hang on a second. North Summit, you already said. You guys come out, you win by 13. I'm going to pull this up here real quickly. It doesn't have the quarter by quarter breakdown. I was trying to cheat and pretend like I did all of my research beforehand. So for Treyson and Dax, walk me through kind of the emotions you were feeling. And was there a point, maybe at what point in the fourth quarter did you feel like, oh my gosh, we're going to win the state championship?
For me, I just remember getting a rebound, and I was just sprinting down the court because I knew they were trying to foul me, and they fouled me, and I was just walking up to the free throw line, and I could feel it coming. I'm like, oh, finally, after 4 years of failure, we're gonna pull this off. It's pretty awesome. So.
Did you make both free throws, or did you miss one?
I missed one.
I played in high school and got to walk on a little bit and as a practice player in college. So I know exactly how that feels. You're just like, did you miss it long because you were so excited?
I don't remember. I missed
it. It was short.
It was short. Okay, got it. He short armed it.
Hit the front of the rim.
How about for you, Treyson?
I'd say it was about the same time, because when Dax went to the free throw line, Coach Randall pulled pretty much all the starters out but Dax. And then that's when we got the standing ovation. And
oh, man.
It was just an amazing experience. It felt, I don't even know how to explain the feeling I got at that moment. And that was kind of the time I knew that we finally completed our goal. And yeah.
I love it. And all that hard work, all those 5:30 a.m., shooting sessions and the steer wrestling, all the practice paid off. And how many people came up from the Enterprise community to support you? Do you know?
A lot.
Yeah, I don't know. There were a lot of people there. So.
It was loud.
Yeah, it was really loud.
Did they let him on the court afterwards? At some point after the trophy and all that stuff?
Yeah, after they handed us the trophy, then the student body got to come down, and then fans out of the stands got to come too. So,
oh man, what an amazing feeling! I got to imagine. So, let's start with you, Treyson. What are your plans now? I mean, after you said is it baseball season, or did you guys already have baseball season? I don't ever remember.
Yeah, it's baseball season right now.
Okay. And so you'll have baseball season. Do you have plans for after high school?
Once I graduate, I'm going to go serve a mission.
Okay.
And then I'll probably go play college baseball somewhere.
Got it. When do you find out where you go?
On my mission or?
Yeah.
I'll find out soon. I'm submitting my papers soon.
Okay. Right on. And how about for you, Treyson?
Or me?
Yeah, what are you? I'm sorry, Dax. No, I'm sorry. The names are on the screen.
Yeah.
Jason's on the left and Dax is on the right. So Dax, I apologize. Dax, what are your plans?
I'm just gonna finish up my rodeo season here in the spring through the summer, and then planning to serve a mission as well.
Okay.
Be a little later, like probably leave in September, but
Okay.
so I haven't got my call or anything yet, but that's my plan.
Got it. And then come back and figure out what God has next for you, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. And Coach, what's next for you? You're gonna go out on top, or you're gonna come back for another run at this? 32 years of coaching will definitely make a man bald.
Yes, it will. The thought crossed my mind that it would be fun to go out on top, but I still have a passion for the game, and so now I'll be back.
Right on.
We'll see if we can make another run at it.
You heard it here first, folks. Coach Bud Randall's coming back. I don't know if it was first. You probably have told other people. I just like to pretend like I break news, like I'm more important than I really am. Well, guys, huge congratulations. It's an incredible feeling. It's an incredible accomplishment. It's something that you've been working on for 4 years. You already know this. I don't care what the level is. I don't care what winning a championship is insanely difficult. And your team accomplished it. Obviously, as a team, like I mentioned, 18.5 assists per game means you guys are playing a lot of team basketball, sharing the ball, trusting each other. And now you get to celebrate with each other. And for both of you, you don't have to go play basketball again if you don't want to. You should. I'm 43 years old. I still get to go out and play basketball, and it's what makes the game so great. But I hope you've been able to enjoy it a little bit. Get refocused on rodeo and baseball and all the things. But just want to say, awesome job. Congratulations to your whole team and to the three of you for the big win. It's an incredible accomplishment.
Well, thank you. And thanks for having us on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks everybody for listening. If you can, please like and share and subscribe to the podcast. Also want to give a shout out to the folks over at Verbal Commits. You can use code Utah to get 10% off if you want to see where people are going to go play. If you want to get your own player profile, if you want to play at the next level, you got to go to verbalcommits.com. Use code Utah. Well, thanks to Coach Bud Randall and to graduating seniors Treyson Randall and Dax Hunt for coming on the show and for a great season. We'll see y'all later. Thank you.